Hello, welcome to another episode of Off the Pitch. I'm Killen, your host and referee, and today I'm joined by, and I'll probably go by, most second places in the Premier League.
Nobody
And
remembers that.
exactly. But lowest with only four second places, Chelsea, George.
There you
Second
go.
with the second places, Man United, seven second places. And
Oh,
obviously,
wait. We won the title 13 times and we've had seven second places. I mean,
yeah,
just saying.
yep. Yep, Cully. And finally, eight second places, Arsenal, Pierce.
Oh, always the bridesmaid.
What did
And
Mourinho say about Wenger? Master of failure or something. Runs deep in the club, clearly.
Well, what Mourinho said about Arteta, though, he will bring Arsenal back to where they need to be, where they deserve to be, and how right was he? So I'll give Jose both of them.
Did you see what else he said though? He
About
said
what?
when it was coming down to who's going to win the league, he was like, well, I'd say Man City 51%, Liverpool 49%, and they said, what about Arsenal? He said, it's Arsenal. They don't win.
Yeah, well, so I guess you can't call us bottlers, really, then, can you?
well, I was gonna lead on to that. I was gonna lead on to that. Second place again, second season. Firstly, it was great to see final day of season go to the wire. Appreciate Man City had the hot spot there, but it was still good. But big question is, did Arsenal bottle it? And I'll probably go over to George first on that.
Look, I mean, they practiced the trophy parade the day before. They released their limited edition bottles. They even got their new kit, which is slightly bottle shaped. Look, it's harsh because Arsenal are incredible, but ultimately, people will say that when that week that was tough, they had Aston Villa, they had the two Bayern Munich games. They bottled their whole season that week. It's harsh to say they bottled it because they did perform really well in the back half of the season. But if you did want to say it, there's an argument to be said that they bottled it that week, and ultimately that has led them to bottle the league.
Shall I come in now and tell you why that's nonsense? Or
Go for it. Go for it.
I will accept, and it's now enough time has passed since last season that we totally did bottle it last season because we fell apart. It was in our hands. But this season, we, out of City, Liverpool, and Arsenal, we led the league for the least amount of days out of the three. We were never odds on with the bookies. All those Opta percentage stats, and you've quoted Mourinho, we were always the outsiders. I think 18% was the highest we got.
Look at Cully. Look
Fine,
at Cully.
we lost the game against Villa. That's the only game we've lost this year. If we were going to bottle it, and I'll accept that we lost that game. Had we won it, we would have won the league. But you can cherry pick any game. Anyone that comes second, or anyone that was top at some point with same games played, you can call them. You can say they bottled it. Did Spurs bottle it then? They were top at after first.
I think the argument's more like when the pressure's on with Arsenal, they collapse.
This
is Liverpool had lost earlier in the day. At that point, the title is in your hands. What happens? Arsenal come out and lose 2-0 comfortably in the second half against Aston Villa. You then go on to the next game against Bayern Munich. You drew that one, didn't you? And then you lost the next one. And after that, you could argue as soon as you gave it back to City, it's like whilst there was hope still, it's almost done. We
had 4 points. We had 4 points off City, 4 points off Liverpool, unbeaten against the top six. The real test, when everyone said this is where Arsenal will fall away, is when after a blip, fine, losing one game in a year, a blip. I think it's pretty human. It's like, unless you're Man City, you're going to lose a game. We had, after that Villa game, Wolves away, Chelsea at home, Spurs away, United away. And you look at those pictures and you go, they're gonna drop some points. We didn't. We won all those games.
Yeah, but people would say that at that point you were chasing, like the pressure's not on so much.
How far back?
Are expecting it to be City.
I think there's a limit to how far back you can go to say bottle. Do you know what I mean? If we had lost the game in which we did in December, a couple of games. Can you go that far back and call it a bottle? Like trying to front run City and be perfect, which they have been since I think they lost their last game 9th of December. They were unbeaten. They were unbeaten at home this season. I think.
I mean, even throw it to
the bottle tag is.
It's harsh. It's harsh.
This year, it's nonsense, isn't it? It's nonsense.
It's harsh, but people are going to say
the last game of the season. We didn't bottle it. We just got beat by a better team. It is what it is.
Look, it's harsh, but people will say it. And ultimately, even on the last day against Everton, that game you were terrible, and you needed a very dodgy VAR decision to get you to win it. Any handball by the rules of the game.
Twice. They had one cleared off the line. Like we fine. It was a tough game, but.
But George,
and at that point it was 3-1. Ultimately, it was 1-1, and you'd bottled that. Once you realise it's over, you then go on and you score your goal.
The problem is Man City took an early lead. They're already 2-0 up. Arsenal are kind of gone. All right, well, they're 2-0 up.
That's tough to get going for. And if you want to talk about dodgy VAR decisions, that it's been doing the rounds today. The categorically wrong decisions that VAR had this season, the ones where it was like the lines were drawn wrong, it was onside rather than called offside. Had they been correct,
Liverpool would have won the league.
Arsenal would have won the league.
Arsenal would have won the league. What about the handball against Liverpool that was never given? There's another one.
Like I say, it's been doing the rounds today. And look, I would never have brought it up unless you said about Havertz. I mean, that wasn't a handball. Michael Oliver went to the screen.
It's the rules of the game, though. Unfortunately, if there's a handball in the build to the goal, it's automatically disallowed, and that was a crucial handball. The ball doesn't go that way if it doesn't hit his arm. So ultimately, that should be a handball.
I think it would have been incredibly harsh, and I think Michael Oliver got it right. But we're not going to split hairs over what may or may not have been. It was irrelevant in the end, and we won the game. Do you know what I mean? But I think
you won it.
You could say they bottled it if they had lost a number of games. But Arsenal really only lost that one game, right? Really, it's only Villa. They had one bad day at the office, and the problem is City don't tend to have them. That's a problem. I mean, George, being a Chelsea fan that you allegedly are.
I'm in you sport again, Kelly. I'm beginning to lose track, to be honest.
Late. No, I'm only kidding. No, but being a Chelsea fan, I remember when Mourinho used to do that with Chelsea in those 2 years. As soon as it per game, you guys go 1-0 up in the first minute, game over. So this is a problem. Arsenal were chasing, yes, they're in the lead, but
the argument is that they bottled it by giving City a sniff. You can't do that to City, and they did.
Yeah,
I think
Arsenal can only blame themselves. If they won that game,
I don't think they blame themselves. I just think
they have to. All they can blame is themselves.
It happened. Well,
we didn't get enough points. We got 89 points. We needed 91. But I think
they had that spell. Let's
forget the word bottling because it's not relevant.
You know what? George has brought this up. City game 0-0.
They had a lot of
beat them. We beat them at our place and we took a point off from their place. If anything,
that's not how. But if you win that game again, you win the league. City had a very City had patched together a back four.
Points off the treble champions. That's a good result.
Exactly. Wasn't enough as the final league table shows.
One point off Fulham and 0 points.
You went there.
That's where we lost.
It was an injured City team, and you didn't even go for it. You didn't throw a punch.
Team, and you know it.
There is such things.
No, there's not. Let's have it right.
That was not their strongest team.
Name them.
That was not their strongest team. You had your strongest team, and you didn't even go to try to get a result. And look, a draw may have turned out it wasn't.
Maybe if
you did need to.
We needed to beat Fulham and Villa.
If you'd have had 2 more points and City have had 1 less, you won the league. Comes down to that game.
The games we lost the league were Fulham at home, 2-1 up. They're down to 10 men and they score.
Every game you drop points is where you lost the league.
But I'm talking about the games where you should see it out. And champions, this is the difference between Arsenal and Man City, we're an incredible team. We're the best of the rest, quite by some margin, and we will be again next season. But there's never with Arsenal. We've got a lot of minerals to get over the line and dig deep, and we scrape these wins where we're not that good. But there's always this jeopardy, and there's this drama, and it's up and down, and it's emotional. With City, there's never jeopardy. There's never drama. It's just business-like. It's boring. Yeah. It's boring.
The problem is, Piers, and going back to what George
relentless.
said, you were in control, right? And it's tough to keep that control and have City behind you.
How many games
just itching at your feet
this season? This year, rather, a lot more than one.
Yeah. No, definitely. But going back to, I know you keep going on about 2024. The season starts in August 23, right?
Yeah,
it's a whole season, and I know, incredible. But City have just great. But City have just been that better team. No one, unfortunately, no one.
If City had drawn on the last day, we'd win the league. So
but you can't rely on another team. You need it in your hands. And after the Villa game and the City game, that wasn't a possibility.
Have any of your teams taken City, bar Liverpool, Pep Guardiola's City as close as we have? You ain't. No one has.
And we both got as much.
And at the moment, it's only Arsenal stepping up. No one else is doing it. And the league,
but you've got nothing to show for it. Look, you're handing out participation awards if you think that just pushing a team is
I'm not asking for a medal for that. I'm just saying my point being, like I just said, is that it's boring. City are so good and they're so mechanical and they just blow teams away. There's never any drama. It's never like, oh, won't they? Will they? It's like, all right, 3-0 up at half time. Might as well turn it off.
They do what you need to do. They do what you need to do, and ultimately you didn't. So that's where people will say you bottled it, because it came down.
Well, no, you'll say we bottled it. I haven't heard one other person say it.
I've heard plenty of people